Thanks, Mitch, for inviting me on this platform. Thanks a lot. And thank you all for giving up your time to come here. I hope I can give you a little bit of an insight into the darker side of the City of London. Something that you won't hear about in the normal press, but as an ex-serviceman it turns my stomach, and any police officer here would have no understanding of what organised crime is linked to political parties. Trust me, I hope in 15 minutes I can persuade you to use your fingers on the internet and search certain addresses. Because of the way that the justice system works, very few people will understand that when you make accusations against individuals or companies, you then deny your right in the justice system, because then that gets taken away as used as forensic fact or evidence in a prosecution case. So all I'm trying to give you in 15 minutes is a short side of 15 years of my life in uncovering the darker side of the City of London and the people that work within it that are stealing billions, not millions, they are stealing billions of pounds, and they're running from multiple boiler rooms, not in Burkina Faso or Nigeria, South Africa, they're operating out of the City of London. I will give you those addresses. You can all use your computers on the internet and you will prove me right. So first of all, where did I start? In 2001, my partner, retired partner, lost her life savings in the investment capital venture fraud. Over 4 years, I assisted 2 attorneys of law who did and conducted the money trail back to the City of London and various addresses in Finchley Road. Those addresses were 788, 790 Finchley Road, and those addresses were interlocked to the money laundering mechanisms, including 130 million US dollars. The controlling directors of those companies that operate out of those addresses are Mary Philomena Stephen, David Perlman, Barbara Kahan, and many other of the Kahan family who were the administrators of those addresses. Now, I know you're all intelligent people. You have an opportunity to contradict what I'm telling you today. Look at those addresses, look how many companies operate out of those addresses, and look at the physical state of those addresses. Those addresses, 788, 790 Finchley Road, 923 Finchley Road, 665 Finchley Road, 420 Finchley Road, are all interconnected networks that control over 2 million shell companies. Those shell companies are linked to the arms trade. Now, I need not tell you about the arms trade with Iraq and Iran, and I'm an ex-serviceman, and that's where my disgust comes from, finding out some of the physical facts. They are forensic facts. They're not hearsay, they're not conspiracy, they are facts. The people that operate those boiler rooms have been working with people like Mohammed Adnan Khashoggi and various arms companies in this country, including BAE Systems. And so, my first start and my first journey into this, my crusade, started with a basic fraud which led me as an engineering officer in the Royal Air Force to understand the mechanics of organised crime and boiler rooms. Those boiler rooms are moving money in international boiler rooms to Australia, Canada, Germany, Cyprus. They're all interlocked and they're all controlled by very senior members of the House of Lords. Don't deny that. You can have a look. Just check those addresses. Look at all the companies. In one particular company, under Company Directors Limited and Temple Secretaries, you will find that they control over 460,000 companies. That's 4 people controlling over 500,000 shell companies. Ask yourself, where is the money for our health services? Where are the money for the police? Where are the money for the fire department? Where is it? Where's it gone? They're cutting down on the police forces. These are the people that protect our country. The National Health Services, it's going to be privatized. People like Sir Malcolm Rifkin, if you check and know how to check corporate documents, what you will find is that Sir Malcolm Rifkin is a co-director with Sir John Chilcot. Now, I don't have to tell you about the Chilcot report. 5 years to produce a report. So, ask yourselves this. The City of London, the capital, the financial capital of the world, protects a very, very important syndicate of very high-ranking people, and they are politicians, members of the House of Lords. If you check the directorship lists of those companies, oil, gas and mining companies, you will find what I found 10 years ago. It's vile, billion-pound organised crime, fraud, theft and money laundering. This is nothing to do with genuine companies. I have been an expert at dismantling corporate oil, gas and mining companies that are shell companies. That means that they're director-only companies that operate on the alternative investment market. The alternative investment market is a casino. It's a casino for organised crime, fraud, theft, money laundering and insider trading. And if you know anything about the stock exchange and the penny stock, if you check some of the companies that I've exposed, I will name them. I'm not ashamed to name them, and I'm not scared to be called by the directors of those companies to face them in a court of law. I exposed 5 companies that operate purportedly in the Falkland Islands. They are Desire Petroleum, Rockhopper Resources, Falklands Oil and Gas, Argus Exploration. These are some of the companies, including Border and Southern Petroleum, that are virtual companies. That means that they are director-only cash shells that by law only have to have a website and an AIM Rule 26 admission document. And then, as small startup companies, they can raise millions. Between those 5 companies, they raised over £1 billion. It's all gone. They've stolen it. They've stolen it because they moved it to subsidiary companies structured in the British Virgin Islands, Panama, Cyprus. That money has been silted out of those companies, not just by ordinary directors. These directors are nothing more than con artists, and they take you people for idiots. It's there. All you have to know is the keys to open those doors, to look at those companies and understand how they can steal billions. Those are the companies that we should get the politicians to investigate. You're talking about those addresses that I mentioned in Finchley Road. Anybody can use the internet and ask why 2 companies, Red Star Enterprises and Minacorp, were structured out of that address by the directors of those company administrators, Company Directors Limited and Temple Secretaries. Those companies have been put under inquiry by the United States Senate for stealing $1.5 billion of the American defense budget. Why didn't our David Cameron, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, why didn't any of those stand up and say, why aren't we investigating those companies? Why aren't we checking those addresses to find out why there's 500,000 shell companies that have no financial records, that tend to asset strip public listed companies which are fake oil, gas and mining companies. They're talking about us running out of oil. If you check the alternative investment market, you will find that there are over 1,300 fake oil, gas and mining companies, all run by the same bunch of directors. Now, if you were to be £400 in debt every month, your bank would cut up your credit cards. How come these companies are allowed to raise billions, and there is no accountability? Why? Because those directors of those virtual oil, gas and mining companies are the funders of political parties. And that's where you don't understand. I'm trying to give you little keys that you can check yourself. And I hope for your children, for your grandchildren, you will look there and make these people, politicians, accountable. The police, how many restrictions have they had in their sort of manpowering, where they're restricted to street patrols? Some of them haven't even got cars. Some of them resort to paper cutouts outside supermarkets. If that's what this country is all about, where our intelligence services are protecting this country, then there's something wrong. Look at the financials of organised crime, and somewhere In each of those companies, you'll find a politician or a member of the House of Lords. It's knowing where to look, knowing where to dismantle them, and understanding the mechanics of organised crime.
BBC! 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 That David Cameron and his government are complicit in money laundering, insider trading and fake companies. And many of the sponsors of the Conservative Party have contributed money from fake companies that are located on Finchley Road. There are over 250,000 fake companies, of which Bowden has told us. So BBC, you will be complicit in a cover-up of the biggest political scandal in British history if you do not take this forensic information, forensic evidence, examine it and present it to the British people, because they have a right to know that their government is nothing more than a fascist dictatorship. It's a fascist dictatorship run by a bunch of crooks that's defrauding the British public out of millions and millions and millions, in some cases billions of pounds. Okay, so do we have somebody from the BBC that would like to come and take this evidence from us? Okay, Bowden is being escorted into the BBC to give documentary evidence of the biggest political scandal in UK history. Okay, sorry, what's your ask, Bowden? Boiler room. Okay, Bowden's going into the BBC now to present this forensic information. We'll see what happens.